सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम।
चल सबको रिझाता चल, सबसे निभाता चल, सबको रिझाता चल, मिल जाएंगे राम। राम नाम का अलख जगाता चल, मिल जाएंगे राम। राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल।
राम सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम। सिया राम, राम सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम, राम सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम, राम सिया राम।
सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We have been studying the impact of the world on the person of realization. What is the impact of the world on a person of realization?
Zero.
Zero. Nothing. There's no impact on him. Why is there no impact on him?
Because he's not
Because
identified with his equipments.
What were you saying, Amparna?
he sees the world as an imaginary world.
Vidushi?
Because he's identified with the self and not his equipment.
So, Aparna, it is because he sees this whole world as an imaginary projection. Suppose you're in the desert, you're seeing a mirage, but you know it's a mirage. You can see it, but you know it's a mirage. You understand it's a mirage. Will you run towards it for water? Because you, even though your eyes are telling you there is water there, you know fully well there is no water there. So similarly, the self-realized person realizes that it is whatever the senses are telling him. Means whatever is the verdict of the senses, he realizes that's just not so. Now, this is in some ways we can understand this. There are times, where you look at an object, okay, or the new Mac or something you see, and you think, oh, it'd be so nice to get that. And yet, even as you're thinking it's so nice to get that, something in you tells you that, even if I get it, it's not going to be of any use to me. You've experienced this, right? That there is an attraction towards something. I mean, there's a recognition, or you see something and you understand in your own head that this is not adding to the sum total of your life. Everyone has experienced this for something or the other. Now, imagine if you had that sensation towards everything in this world. That's what the man of realization experiences. That it really doesn't matter in the total scheme of things. Suppose your husband says to you, or your wife says to you, that I'm very angry with you because you didn't pick up your towel. Now, assuming she's a normally balanced person, it's not a big deal, right? You know that she'll be angry that you didn't pick up the towel, and that's okay. And then she's going to pick it up, and then she's going to forget. You are going to forget. She's going to forget. It has no real relevance in your life. I hope you all have experienced this, and every time there's a dirty towel, you all are not having a quarrel. But it's simple things, and in the household, you get irritated with somebody, and you are irritated. The person knows you're irritated, but it counts for nothing.
ये पैक करके उसमें रखना सूटकेस में, तो आज के रात को रख देना, कल जाना, और जब वो इसकी चाबी ले आना मेरी.
Okay, but I don't know how I can pack anything for you. And neither do I think I have your keys. Please, can everybody put your videos on? At least by keeping your video on. I know that you are bothered about the class and not about all the things in the world that are going on. 1 hour in the week, can't we just give it 100% to the class? Because the class is important, but not only because of that. Why? What's the other reason? Of course, you must value the subject you're doing, but what's the other reason?
That's the right thing to do.
Okay. It is a training for ourselves that whenever we are doing something, we're doing only that thing. We're simply not doing anything. So I said, put on video, not a soul has put it on. Okay, what is Vidushi saying? Okay, her camera is not working, fine. Deep, what about you? You were usually... Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Patel are Both have their videos on. Deepraj, what happened to you? You were a videoer first. Now you also become invisible. Okay, sit down, sit down. Right. So, why the man of realization is not involved with whatever happens in this world is because he is just not giving it that much importance. Okay, suppose one hair falls from your head. Do you start crying for it? It's okay, right? No big deal. It's only when the whole thing starts going that we have a problem. But one hair has fallen, one hair has come in your comb. Do you react? Oh, throw the thing and you're done. Right? So, similarly, he looks upon the whole world like that. As you would do the loss of one hair, as you would do the growth of one hair, to him, the world is like that. As you would be unconcerned with your partner's minor irritation over some small thing, you know that that irritation is not going to last for more than 30 seconds. As you are unconcerned about all these things, he is unconcerned with everything. Now, all of us have a certain level of elasticity. We are able to put up to a point. One hair falls, no problem. 2, 3 hair fall, no problem. All hair fall, we have a problem. Right? So somewhere or the other, we succumb. We think it's a very important thing that just happened. And we succumb. He doesn't succumb anywhere. So what is the impact of the world on him? Zilch. Nothing. Nothing, because he just doesn't value it that much. Because he understands it's just an illusion. Everything in this world is an illusion. If you stop and think about it, all the things, remember when you were playing with toys? And when you were playing with toys, a particular toy was very important, or your friend had some toy and you didn't have it, or you had it and your friend didn't have it. All of this went on, right? And it all meant a lot. And now you remember that and you say, oh, you know how stupid I was. I was so angry because my friend took this or that, or did this or did that, something or the other. That world of toys you recognize as illusory. So when you say it's illusory, you don't mean that there are no toys there. What do you mean?
There is zero values in those toys.
Yes, they are insignificant. Just insignificant. Like last night's dream, it's insignificant. So you tell this person, you got Nobel Prize. Insignificant. Somebody took your Nobel Prize away. Insignificant. So the concept of illusion is that we're going to study it, of course, in detail later on. But the concept of illusion, in Sanskrit, it is called Maya. Ma, not ya, that. Whatever you're putting onto it, it is not that. That's the concept of illusion. You are giving things an unnecessary value, importance, significance, when none of these are there. It's a little difficult as a concept to grasp, but of course, all these things come only with more and more reflection. Right? So, impact on the world on him is 0. Now, what is his impact on the world? Right? We have to do that. Correct? Let's do that. Who is going to read?
Can I, Janki ji?
Please do.
His impact on world. The world is made up of good and evil. Righteous and unrighteous forces have been conflicting with each other from time immemorial. Neither of them has succeeded in destroying the other completely. There can be no good or bad alone, since the world is constituted of pairs of opposites, dvandvas. Thus, from the very inception, virtue and vice are the warp and woof that have patterned the world. These opposing forces have been in the past, are so in the present, and will continue in the future. Religions symbolize them as God and the devil. The Bible speaks of the conflict between Satan and Christ. The epic Mahabharata recounts the proverbial war between the evil Kauravas and the virtuous Pandavas. The Ramayana portrays the battle between the demon Ravana and Lord Rama. John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, describes the war between the demons and gods. History has shown no god person could exterminate evil and establish goodness alone, nor could the devilish person wipe out goodness and establish evil alone. At best, they have succeeded in strengthening their trait and weakening the opposite. Thus, the role of the good and evil would perpetually alternate in the world, whereas yours is to rise above them and reach the divine core of your personality. So the paragraph says that as we already know, that there is neither all good that exists in the world nor all evil. So it's always going to be these pair of opposites, and they've given examples like God and the devil and Satan and Christ. But also it also happens that it will not happen that you'll only have goodness always. But at the most, if there is goodness, then that trait would persist above the wickedness, and vice versa. But what our role is, our job is to rise above all this and reach the divine core of our personality, that is to reach the self or the Atma.
Very good. So, all of this is an explanation of a simple law of Vedanta. Can you identify that law?
The world is changed.
Is it a
The
cause
world is
and good and bad?
Sorry?
Cause and effect?
No. Which law of Vedanta is this entire paragraph just an explanation of? Deep Raj. World is a pair of opposites. Very good. World is equal to one word. Sanskrit word.
Dvandvas.
Dvandvas. Very good, Madan. You've all studied this, right? World is equal to dvandvas. Now, when you say world is change, it only shows the movement between the dvandvas. It's not a different thing. Otherwise, Deep Raj is going to suddenly say world is equal to change, world is equal to dvandvas. You cannot have it all equal to. You should say almost equal to, because there's something else as well. No, it is still equal to, because they're both the same. So, how does change occur? Only because there are the dvandvas, right? There can't be change without them. So, world is equal to a pair of opposites. Simple, no? That's the thing about Vedanta. It's so beautifully simple. World is dvandvas. World is pairs, opposites. Light and dark, and tall and short, and black and white, and fat and thin, and I don't know, day and night, and winter and summer, all sorts of pairs of opposites. Now, once you understood that the world is nothing but a pair of opposites, what can you expect can happen? Only possibility in the world is one of the pair of opposite will get predominance over the other. This is the only possibility. What else? You cannot, you already defined it as pairs of opposites. It's like a pendulum. It can swing this way or it can swing this way. These are your only two possibilities. It's not going to do anything else. So, can the man of realization really have any effect on the world? Not really, because its nature is dvandva. Then what effect does he have? He can only pull the pendulum in one direction. And how long will it stay there? For a time. Then what will happen? It will swing back in the opposite direction. What usually happens is some negative guy comes along and pulls it a lot into the negative direction. And then so someone takes it and then pulls it off in the other direction. And then eventually, hopefully, it's somewhere in the middle. It's never going to be exact middle, but somewhere in the middle, it comes. So this thing takes usually 3 generations, this going up and down. So somebody is very good, very good, very good. 3 generations will follow that. Then what will happen? Then they will forget, everybody will forget, life will go on to normal life. So what is the impact of the man of realization? To understand that, you to understand the world itself, and the world is equal to
Pairs of opposites.
Opposites.
just this. This is the world. Get used to it. See, let us say there is a couple. They are fighting. After some time, what will happen?
Love it away again.
Then get
They start
resolve their
loving.
issues. Huh?
They start loving.
Yes. Then they become very loving. They say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Everybody says sorry. We'll never do this. We'll never fight, and it will become a very harmonious relationship. Then after some time, what will happen? Then again, something
Again
will
fighting.
irritate each other. Again, they start fighting. Okay, this goes on, right? This pendulum keeps moving. Why? Because in a marriage or in any relationship, people sometimes behave the way you want them to behave, and sometimes they don't behave the way you want them to behave, and that causes friction. So every now and then it goes back and forth, back and forth. Even the world's biggest fighting couple at some time are not fighting, no. And even the most, compatible and loving couple, at some time or the other, they are also fighting. So it's a pendulum. Life is like. And once you begin to recognize this, you're less and less affected by it. Because, why? Why?
Because
Because you
it's, yeah. So,
He understood world is a passing phenomenon.
Because he knows whatever is going on is going to change. If at the moment it is loving, after some time it will be hating. If it is at the moment hating, after some time it will be loving. Normal life is going on. So you get a salary at the beginning of the month. Then what happens? Towards the end of the month, it has got depleted. Right? Then at the end of the month, you're saying, "Abhi agle mahine dekhenge." That is why that day, Jayashree was very sweet. She said, "Oh, all these expenses are there, but now it's the end of the month. We'll look at it next month." I said, "Jayashree, हमारे जीवन में next month नहीं आता. It's not like we have some income that comes in every beginning of every month. जो है सो है, उतना ही है. If something comes, it's all राम भरोसे. कोई established income नहीं है ऐसे." So, but in a normal person's life, how it comes to an end, you feel like, oh, now I have to wait to spend. Then again, the money comes in. Then again, now you're king of the world. Each time it comes, each time it goes, you can't start crying, right? Once the day comes, it's lovely, it's morning, the birds are singing, it's so beautiful. Then what will happen? Especially if you live in India, it will get so hot, so hot, so hot. Then what will happen? Again, the temperature will come down again. Then what will happen? Night will come. Then what will happen? Again, this drama will start. Why are we getting carried away? When we know fully well that this is going to go on and on and on until we are here. So you say, "Oh, I'm a great soul." Then are you going to eradicate night? Will night go from your life because you're a great soul? No, the night will come. And oh, he's a horrible, horrible man. So will the sun not rise for him? Will day not happen even if he's a horrible, horrible man? So once you begin to realize this, You just take it in your stride. When it gets hot, you put on the fan. When it gets cold, you put on the heater. You are just adapting to whatever the change that took place. You don't have a comment on it. Normally, we all have a comment on it. ये क्यों हुआ? ये कैसे हुआ? ये नहीं होना चाहिए. How can you say night नहीं होना चाहिए? वो तो होगा ही. What is there to rejoice when day comes? Because when day comes, night cannot be far behind. If your spouse is being very, very sweet to you and everything is very nice, what do you know is not very far away?
Quarrel.
Quiet.
At the moment, quiet, then there will be storm. Then the after storm, what will happen? Then it will all be quiet. Isn't it? It's not very complex. So, but the main idea to understand in it is
The world is a pair of opposites.
the world is only dvandvas. So, in the dvandvas, what can you do? You can only
Push it towards one side.
you can only adapt to it. So, in that, that's all you can do. Remember, you studied this right in the beginning of the book. The world is a pair of opposites, and what can you do? You can adapt. So, when it goes into a very negative state, what do?
Push it towards a positive state.
You push it towards the positive state. If it is in the positive state, what do? Now, don't say push
Try,
it to the negative, for heaven's sake. What do you do over there?
try to maintain it.
Try to maintain it.
Balance. Balance.
Simple, right? The study of life is very simple. But however much you might try to maintain it, what is eventually going to happen?
It's going to go back to that state.
Going to go back. So simple. That's all he's saying about the man of realization. That the world is pairs of opposites. When things go negative, he deals with it. It becomes positive. He maintains it for as long as he can. And then, what do they say in Marathi? They say, Kutrachi Shepti. What?
कुत्र्याची शेपूट वाकडी ती वाकडीच.
Vakdi ti vakdiच. Correct. You know that. Now the dog's tail is always round. You pull it out, it will go it'll go. Good. Right? So this is clear. Right? In the world.
Janki ji, purely looking at the numbers, there is only one man of realization at one point in time. And there are millions and millions of men of non-realization. So it will always be swinging to the bad side. So there'll never be an equilibrium. It'll always be the man of realization can try and pull it a little, but it'll always be on the negative side, right?
That is the Hindi phrase ek loha ek sonar.
एक सोनार
You know which one?
क्या
एक सोनार की एक लोहार की 100 सोनार की.
एक लोहार की 100 सोनार.
So what does it mean? That when you are gross, the quantum has to be a lot more for you to achieve anything. But when you are subtle, the quantum reduces. So one person of realization and a whole bunch of negative people, he'll still pick it all the way up. So he has the power of subtlety and they have the power of quantity. So
like 100 Kauravas and
yes,
one Krishna.
Yeah, he can deal with. Yeah. Now, because he is good, all the good will get attracted to him. But there are very few of them. So his power is not being increased by the good because the quantum is not much. His real power is in his subtlety. So that's how, historically, you see, right? one person has come and done something phenomenal. That has stayed for some time and then again it starts dwindling away.
And that too would be in his sort of area of influence. For example, Krishna would be in his area of influence in that geography or whatever,
As much as is required.
as much as it is required. Hmm.
Right. Now we'll go to the next paragraph.
A question on the chat.
Oh, sorry. Question in the chat. Oh my God, so many people have been joining and leaving. Where? Dvandvas are just one part of the world, isn't it? Things also exist. I don't understand. What do you mean? Things also
So, I
exist?
mean, there's wood, there's steel, there's tables. There are no opposites of those per se.
There's no opposite of?
Or say you had wood or steel or a table. There's no opposite of a table. It's not a chair or. So, I mean, things do exist besides just the pair of opposites.
Yeah, but their existence and non-existence is a pair of opposite.
That applies to the world, I mean.
That's exactly
It
the
applies
point.
to everything then, I mean. Existence and non-existence is something that is, then there's nothing else remaining then, to be pairs of opposites. So then, so you have light and dark, then light and dark. So then does the pair of opposite becomes no light and light?
Because there is no such thing as dark.
No, whatever, hot and cold, whatever the opposites are
Again,
good.
there is no such thing as cold.
Not really, but okay. I mean, if you take, yeah, but I mean, so are you saying there's only one thing? No other opposite exists? Is that what you're saying?
No.
That
I'm
is
saying
only
world
one?
is a pair of opposites. So
No, but when you say
everything in this world is subject to an opposite. So you're saying, what about steel? What is the opposite of steel? So basically, you say steel is hard and I don't know, cotton or pillow is soft. So there's the qualities of this thing. So now these qualities in themselves are not something, right? Like what is heat or what is cold? Cold is only the absence of heat. What is darkness? It's only the absence of light. So everything here falls into some pair of opposite or the other. So some people will say you can take it even on a level like what is the opposite of a table? It's a chair. You can say that. So the whole the thing is that you have this transitioning going on between these qualities, and that's the whole world. There's nothing else here.
yeah, all right, okay, thank you.
So who will read the next paragraph? Prashant, will you read?
Yes. The dual forces of good and evil that operate in the macrocosm do so in the microcosm as well. Material craving and sensual indulgence pull you down to the lower level of your personality, while your divine aspirations lift you to the higher, edify you. The lower temptations generally outnumber the higher aspirations. The strength of the lower lies in the numbers, while that of the higher is in its quality. It basically says that higher the quality in the higher overpowers the overnumbers the lower quality strength of lower quality.
What is the main point here?
Dual forces operate in macrocosm and microcosm as well.
Very good. So first he told us about the macrocosm, about the world. Now he's telling us about the microcosm, which is the individual. So just as we learned that there were dvandvas in the world, right? To which Mahesh is saying, what is the dvandva of Mahesh? So Mahesh exists in itself, but what's the opposite of Mahesh? So if we take opposite of Mahesh, it would be no Mahesh. That was what it would be. But in the individual, what are the opposites playing?
Higher and lower.
Higher and the low.
Very good. Mahesh's higher qualities and Mahesh's lower qualities. This is the pairs of opposites within the individual. So just as there's duality externally, there's duality internally. And you'll see this, right? Towards some people, it could be extremely loving. Towards some people, I could be extremely hating. In some situations, I could exhibit a lot of knowledge. In some situations, I would exhibit a lot of ignorance. So each one has higher qualities and lower qualities. And these are the pairs of opposites. These are the dvandvas within us. Now, as we try to evolve, we try to get to higher and higher and better qualities. Isn't it? So, how is this even possible? We answer that question. How is it possible for me to get rid of my multifarious negative qualities with the help of my few good qualities? So how will I do this? How is that possible? How is that enabled? Because of a law. What is that law?
The
Quality and quantity are
subtle is always more powerful than the gross.
Correct. So subtle things have the power of quality, but gross things have the power of
quantity.
So that's why you have 100 Kauravas and only 5 Pandavas. Now, if you've got these 5 Pandavas and 100 Kauravas, common sense tells you that Kauravas have to win. Then why don't the Kauravas win?
No quantity, quality.
Quality supersedes quantity. Now, what does that mean for us? Our positive qualities may not be so great to take care of all our negative qualities. So we have to add one more thing into this mixture. What is that one more thing we have to add?
Intellect.
Okay. Pandavas, no doubt, are very good. Arjuna is best or archer. Everything is there. But they still cannot fight the Kauravas until they have
Krishna on their side.
Krishna.
They have Krishna. Correct? So in our mix of the good and bad, we have to add Krishna. Adding Krishna means what?
focusing on the
Your
self.
intellect.
Yes. Means having some higher vision, some higher goal, some higher purpose. If you want your good qualities to overcome and supersede your bad qualities, you have to add a goal to it. Otherwise, there will be random stuff going on. Now, this is such an important aspect of human life, which is simply not seen. It's simply not seen. It's like an incredible thing. If you don't have a higher ideal, even those of us who are doing karma yoga, we are involved in doing good work. But do we have that ideal? What is the goal? What is the purpose? If that is not there, your karma yoga is just
Karma bhoga.
okay, but it's just one more good quality you have. You do volunteer work, you do social service. It's a good quality. But it will not be enough to elevate the personality. To elevate the personality, you have to be dedicated to some cause, something, anything, it doesn't matter what that cause. And once that dedication is there, that's when the perception changes. As it is, all of us have got good and bad. Sometimes we are good people, sometimes we are bad people. Ye to hota hi hai. Right? Now, how will we change the very way we look at things? Only when there is a higher cause to attain. Otherwise, we have good tasks and we have bad tasks. And we are exactly where we are. So that's the whole significance of the Pandavas winning only because of their association with Krishna. Our good qualities will lift us up only if they themselves are subservient to the ideal. Right? So the same dvandvas which exist in the external world exist in the internal world. Now, in the internal world, of course, we are not realized souls. So now what are we going to do? We have to associate with the realized soul, or associate with a higher ideal, or associate with Krishna in whatever way you would like to. Krishna means, don't take it as Mr. Krishna, with the higher. And that changes the texture of our personality. Otherwise, we're just good people doing good work. That's it. We are where we are. The same problems, the same botherations will be on us. Okay, so let's go further. Who will read the next paragraph?
I can read it.
Go ahead.
The human mission is to use one's higher nature to control and conquer the lower. Let your mind expand and accommodate the interest and welfare of fellow beings. It elevates you. The mind behaves much like water. Water kept in a pot remains in it for days on end. Pour the water on the floor. Let it spread over a large area. It evaporates fast. Water vapor rises upward. It reaches high up in the sky, and when it becomes constricted, it forms into clouds. The rainwater falls downward. The sun draws water up. The earth pulls it down with its gravity. The same phenomenon is seen in your mind. When your mind remains selfish, self-centered, restricting itself to the individual alone, it lies low, involved, attached, lost in the affairs of the world. The earth pulls you down. The enlightened soul acts like the sun to draw your mind to greater heights. The mind expands to become unselfish, selfless, to soar to the heights of perfection. Helps you evolve spiritually. It is a law. So there are things that in the world that pull you down and things that help you rise, just like the earth with its gravity pulls the rainwater downward, and the sun, and the evaporation via the sun pulls it upward. So one has to follow that law and try and use knowledge to take you to greater heights, to become unselfish and selfless, rather than become self-centered and selfish by moving downward.
Right. So what is the point over here? The human mission is to use one's higher nature to control the lower nature. We have to use what is good in us to deal with what is not so good in us. The power that comes to the good in us, because it's still small, right, is with the help of knowledge, with the help of ideals, with the help of the self-realized soul, whatever way you want to understand that. But only by going and attaching ourselves to something higher can we change the very way we look at life. We are a bundle, some bundle we are right now, of good, bad, indifferent. We are some bundle. Now, how does this bundle move up? It's like the water has to be drawn up. But how will it be drawn up? First, it must allow its own spread. That means it must try to see, can I care for anything but myself? Means it's associating with good ideas. Once it does that, then knowledge has the power to pull it up. If it stays within itself, knowledge cannot pull it up. Just like water in the jar will take a long time to get pulled up by the sun. So first and foremost, you spread out your interest a little. And then the knowledge of the higher lifts you up. If it's very selfish, very self-centered, it's very difficult. So good works is a good thing. But as Shankara says, your good works cannot take you to moksha. He goes on and on and on saying it. All the work you do in the world will not take you to moksha. Then what? Should we stop doing good works? No, you have to still do them. But if they are not taking me to moksha, then why am I doing them? Because they form the conducive environment in the mind to be lifted up with knowledge. Can I give up good work? No. Will it help me? No. Make up your mind. That's why people get very confused with advice. They say he can't make up his mind whether we should work or we should not work. The simple answer is yes, you must work. The work, the good, noble work, helps the mind to expand, and then knowledge can lift it up. So it's a very, very good example about the water, how it, if it's restricted inside, the sun cannot lift it. It can't be done. It has to first expand. So that's how we can use our good qualities. By associating them with the higher, we can lift our personality up. So when you are in the presence, so one great thing is always the presence of people with nobler qualities than us. If everybody we know is of lesser quality than us, then there's a problem. We have to consciously try to be with better people. Consciously make that effort. But it's not just with being better people and being, very happy to be with noble souls, because they are noble, they are not troubling you, you're very happy to be with them. So many people like that who would like to just surround the teacher, but that's all they do, they surround the teacher. So that's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is you use that thing to pick yourself up. All these are just help, Suppose we were in the presence of a self-realized soul. In his presence, nonsense thoughts don't come to our head. If you are with Swamiji or something, unnecessary nonsense doesn't come to our head. It's so calm, it's so peaceful and silent, right? So then you begin enjoying this. That's not helping. So what have we got to do? We have to conquer these pairs of opposites within ourselves with the help of
Our higher desires.
the higher, of a higher goal. Higher desires won't help us. Say higher goal. Because higher desires, lower desires we have. Now these higher desires will lead us to self-realization only if one of them or something becomes a higher goal. Otherwise, Everybody's like that, right? Everybody, not only people in this class, not only sadhaks, everybody has got good desires and bad desires. Even if you go to Ravana, he has good desires and bad desires. Except that his good desires are never winning the battle. So what makes him win the battle is that higher, something higher, knowledge, association with an individual, a higher cause, something that helps pull us up. I mean, association with an individual, please don't misunderstand as, oh, I'll go and stay with self-realized souls and then I will grow. It doesn't work like that. It's all, this is just a conducive environment. Right? Now, last.
So Janki ji, just one thought. So therefore, one has sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic tendencies, higher and lower tendencies now. So therefore, it's a better idea to focus more on increasing sattva and putting all your energies behind increasing sattva rather than working on reducing rajas and tamas.
Here it is giving the method. How would you do that? How would you elevate the personality?
That's right.
Through the higher goal. We all have tamas, rajas, and sattva.
Yes.
Now, how will we make sure that our sattva wins? Only when there's a higher goal involved. Otherwise, the sattva will lose because sattva vichara is very little, and tamas and rajas are in bucket loads. So, sattva will fight a losing battle. So, therefore, give the sattva a higher goal. That's the methodology. I mean, something to achieve, something, and not just us being good people, but something, some goal, some achievement. Like suppose now we say we want to set up Vedanta University. Then everything we do is directed towards that. In that, we have to sacrifice so many things, right? That is the sacrifice of the lower. Otherwise, you won't sacrifice it.
So the lower will automatically drop.
No, unfortunately
No,
not.
If we work with a higher goal, and so sattva should increase, and when sattva increases, then the rajas should drop automatically.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Yes. But once it increases, it is what it is. So it needs that goal, everything directed to that goal. So therefore, the rest move away. Otherwise, I mean, like, there are thousands of good people in this world. Each one doing one or two good things somewhere or the other, and of course benefiting people because they're doing good things. But they're not rising spiritually.
True.
Okay,
so it lifts you up. It lifts you up. And so rajas also starts coming down. Tamas also starts coming down when you start with a higher purpose.
Because you're willing to sacrifice. Suppose you want something. How will you sacrifice your tamas? You would like to be in bed.
It will happen.
It's nice and warm in bed. It's Delhi in December. Why will you get up? Any normal person will say, "Acha, ye razai bahut hi achhi hai, main ut nahi raha hu." Right? So what will make you get up? There has to be something to make you wake up, right? And if that purpose isn't there, then you continue being in the wherever you are. Right. Who will read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Go ahead.
In truth, the sun does everything in the world, but remains unattached like a witness, Sakshi. It sheds luster, supports life everywhere, provides vegetation, causes the waters to flow, the winds to blow, The earth and planets revolve around it. It is the center of everything. Such is the glory and grace of the God person. His presence sets everything right. In his divine presence, righteousness prevails over unrighteousness. The world is no longer gripped by worry and anxiety, stress and strain. People turn towards the self within. Such is the impact of a realized soul upon the world. So, just like how the sun supports and maintains everything, all the planets, life on Earth, all of that, so does a self-realized person. Brings out the righteousness in the people around him. And just how the sun is unattached, the self-righteous person, the self-realized person is also unattached.
So this sun, which is supposed to make this water evaporate. Suppose that water stays in the jar and chooses not to evaporate. What is the sun's reaction to that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Even careless.
So the sun is like that self-realized soul who, by its presence, everything happens. You go in the presence of a self-realized soul. Even if you read these books, your mind goes to these ideas. You read the Gita, your mind goes to the ideas. You go to his words. Your mind stays with those ideas. Even if his corporeal presence is not felt, at least even his words, his thoughts is enough to lift us up. Now, what is his impact on the world? When it is, his impact is like the impact of the sun. Because of the sun, everything happens. And the sun is not interested in what happens. So his impact on the world is not like he's trying to impact the world. Why is he not trying to impact the world?
Because it's free from the pressures of the world.
No desire. No desire.
Why is he not trying to impact the world?
But you know, it's an illusion.
He knows it's an illusion. What is he going to impact here? Okay, so everybody becomes realized, he knows it's an illusion. Everybody goes mad, he knows that is also an illusion. What impact is he going to try to have? He's not having. He's like the sun. His impact is because our mind can rise in his presence. And that is the greatest impact. So that's what he's trying to say. That in truth, everything that happens on this earth is because the sun, but the sun is least bit interested about what happens here.
Janki, I have a question regarding this. So a self-realized person seems to be not really adding value to the world as a person who is a karma yogi and actively working towards improving the world.
No, he may be actively working. Krishna actively worked or not, according to you? Rama actively worked or didn't work, according to you? Does the sun work or not, according to you? It's not that they are not working, it's that they have no interest in that thing. The sun is, whatever is happening on earth is happening because of the sun, no? Suppose sun goes for a walk, earth will collapse. So it's not that he's not a karma yogi. He is the only true karma yogi. Like, yeah, he does all that he does, but he has no hope for reward whatsoever. He doesn't, no hope. He doesn't, like, it means nothing to him what comes out of it. Suppose the endeavor fails, he's okay. Suppose the endeavor succeeds, he's just as okay. So of course, what do you call is he working on? Are you okay?
Okay, but not convinced, because I would believe that a person who's on a mission, let's say somebody is on a mission to work on the climate change, he or she is putting all her energies into it, working day in and day out, versus a self-realized person who seems to me to be caring, caring less.
But
I,
doing?
maybe he's doing nothing. He's just
So
sitting like
Krishna,
Ramana.
Rama did nothing. Caring less means what? You're taking the emotions of a child as more than the emotions of the adult. Oh, bada shore kiya to you care. If you don't shore nahi kiya, that means you don't care. He's not caring means what? Because of him, the whole world is going to improve. How can you say he doesn't care? He's the only one who cares about it. The rest of us care about ourselves. By definition, right? Mrs. Patel wants to say something, so I have to go to her. Also.
No, so Janki ji, I have to
One
ask.
second. Let me finish with Omkar. You know that that will take a bit of time, right? Yeah. Yes.
If you leave out Rama and Krishna, out of this equation, and some of the other people
But
who
why
are,
will you leave them out? Whatever your theory is has to hold everybody in, right?
yeah,
Your
because
theory
I'm not too sure if Rama and Krishna had that impact on the world. If I see the life of Rama, for example, yeah, he stood for certain great principles and stuff, but
I think
what
that is a
impact
good
did he?
example of the fact that he did have an impact. The
That way,
world's
okay.
best kingdom, if you want to say proverbially, this is the world's best kingdom. What do you call this kingdom?
Ramarajya.
Ram Rajya. Say you can learn at home. Did he reach Ram Rajya without work? What kind of dedication must have gone to have a pinnacle of perfection in his kingdom? But he's doing it so selflessly, so egolessly, that you won't see his work at all. You will get the feeling which you have got that he's done nothing. And how does he get Ram Rajya? His kingdom is supposed to be it's become proverbial. If somebody rules a kingdom well, it will be Ram Rajya. So it's without asking for, without wanting anything, without being interested in it, simply by doing what needs to be done. There's no selfish intent, no stopping himself from doing, no excitement over anything, no over enthusiasm about everything, anything. Intellect is sharp, precise, it just gets the job done. Such people, you never think they're working, you think that they're not working.
If I may say something very controversial, I'm half of mind saying this, but it seems to me that, for example, Thomas Alva Edison had a much more greater impact than, let's say, a Ramana Maharshi, in my mind. And I'm not able to reconcile this fact, I'm assuming Ramana Maharshi is a self-realized person who was very silent and to himself. And Edison was probably not a self-realized person, but he made such great contributions to mankind.
Yeah, because you're seeing only the physical thing. Because somebody like Ramana Maharshi existed, how many lives were benefited?
Yeah, that's.
How do you even quantify that?
Yeah, we can't actually.
Yeah,
Which is the.
like take Buddha for instance. How many lives has his education benefited? How do we quantify it? And this is going on 5,000 years.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
whatever Thomas Alva Edison came up with was great, but it's obsolete. Now it's obsolete. Now things have progressed. But what Buddha did, or Ramana Maharishi did, or Rama, or Krishna, all these people, whatever they did, their effect continues. So So how do you quantify all these things? That's one of the problems, right? Even when we ask people for donation, they say, how many people, what benefit have you created? How do you quantify that benefit? How do I know that if Milind has learned Vedanta, how much has his life been benefited? Because his life has been benefited, how many other lives have benefited? How do I quantify this? It's impossible. Okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
people.
Yeah, Janki ji, I wanted to just, what do I say, confirm that a self-realized soul, even if he's doing his duties or her duties, then they're doing it selflessly, like sun, no expectation, but you have to do your duties.
Yes,
that.
except
This
that
is-
duties has come to mean household duties. That
No,
is not the word.
any duty or any higher goal or any purpose they want to achieve, but no over enthusiasm or no shosha or whatever, but they will keep doing their duties, whatever they are supposed to do.
Yeah. Whatever they believe right, they will do.
Okay. Thank you. That is it.
Okay, so that's it for today. Hari Om.
Thank
Hari
you,
Om,
Janki.
Janki ji.
Thank you, Janki ji. Hari Om.